It doesn't do a lot of good to have a huge database of information if we don't have ways of getting that information out. And one way we can get that information out certainly is to look at the screen. And a lot of times that's going to be what you'll do. You want to find out more information about somebody who's just called. You can pull up the database and look at the screen. But in some cases what you want to do is print things out and take them with you. For example, if what I wanted to do is to have a phone list directory of all of my customers, it would be nice to just be able to print that out and take that with me. Because even though I have all that information perhaps in a PDA or in my laptop, sometimes it's hard to see that in the sun. Sometimes it's easier to work with paper in the car and on the road than it is to work with the computer. Of course, if you make any changes, you want to get that information back into the system, because that way you keep your database up to date. So what we're going to do is take a look at some reports that we can quickly generate with ACT, and then we'll talk about some report filters that we can use, and then we'll talk about the basics of creating a report template. We're not going to get deep into creating report templates because it's, again, more of an art than it is a science, and personally I believe ACT has enough reports in it for anybody to be able to have the information that they need on a day-to-day basis. But if we want to take a look at some of the reports that ACT already has, we're going to go to the File menu, and guess where we're going to go? That's right, to Reports. Click on Reports. Notice we get a drop-down. And in the drop-down list, we have Contact Report, which is just one contact, a basic contact report. A Contact Directory, which based on our lookup gives us directory information. In other words, the name of the person, their address, the last time we contacted them, their telephone number. So it gives us that contact information. If all we want is a phone list and we don't want all of that more detailed information, then we can simply create a phone list. What if we want to just know the activities that we performed for a certain group of contacts? Then we do the lookup, and then we can do an activities report, or a notes and history report, or a history summary. And again, this is based on how we identify the lookup. What we include in this is based on our lookup. So it's good to do the lookup first. A history summary classic, which just gives us all the basic information, the notes, the history for a contact. History time spent is more like a statistical report that you might want to give to a sales manager. As long as you've kept it up to date and run through ACT, you can create that. A contact status report is to contact a prospect, is to contact a customer, when's the last time they were contacted. Source of referrals. In other words, if we've kept up with that source of referrals, where we got these contacts, then we could create a source of referral report. That would allow us to focus in. If we've gotten some great referrals from some other contacts, we might want to go back to them and get some more referrals, get some more sales from them. Other contact reports. Well, what else might you need? Well, if you click on Other Contact Reports, it brings up a list of report templates, one of which might be a birthday list. If we wanted to create a quick birthday list, if we put the birthday information in for our contacts, we could create a birthday list rather quickly. We can also have ACT remind us of their birthday. What about a fax list? So we've got a lot of reports that are already in ACT. So we can pull these up by other reports. We're going to click on Reports again in the File menu, and notice that we have group reports as well. Group membership, group summaries, group comprehensive, group list reports. We've got company reports. If we focus in on companies, if we're managing our contacts by assigning them to companies and then working with the company information, then we can create company reports. Opportunity reports, we've already looked at some of these, right? Sales analysis and sales analysis adjusted by probability, and pipeline reports. We looked at the pipeline reports that we can create. Now, if that's not enough, then we can click on New Template. When we click on New Template, it allows us to create our own reports. And as I said, that's more of an art than it is a science. But one of the things that I want you to notice as we start to look at some of these reports is that there are basically three separate sections of the report. There's the header, the report itself, or the detailed information, and then there's the footer. And I'll point these out as we look at some different reports. But that's all really that you do when you start to create a template, is decide what you want to be in the header, what you want to be in the footer, and then what you want to be in between. So for our next section, let's take a look at a simple phone list. That's next.